what I'm about to do, I call a testimonial. If you can't hear me, turn your hearing aids up. By the way, what did you call your lunch on a Monday noon time? You call it leftovers. Come on, remember. You call it leftovers. Now take a good look. Because this is what's left over. And I'm taking a good look and seeing also what's left over. Good? Yes. Great. Great. My first word is to say thank you. To say thank you to all who have worked so diligently to bring this event to fruition. Thank you. Thank you. To Mr. Lester Green, a very special thank you for yeoman service given over many months. Next, I want to say thank you. Thank you for the invitation and what I consider to be a privilege to speak on this occasion. In my notes, I wrote this: I won't ask why me, I just might get told. And there's some of you who would tell me. I stand here as the proud son of two parents who served the war effort during World War II. My parents were Max Gerald Peddle, number 2336, Newfoundland Overseas Forestry Unit, from the Dominion of Newfoundland. My mother, Doris Edith Parfitt Peddle, number W/104-421, Auxiliary Territorial Service, British Army, England. I call what I'm doing today a testimonial. Not a testimony, but a testimonial. By it, I hope to heap a genuine mark of esteem upon the persons and labours of the ATS and upon the persons and labours of the Newfoundland Overseas Forestry Unit. First of all, some remarks about the Auxiliary Territorial Service. Among those being honored today are 3 women from Great Britain who served in the ATS. They each subsequently married men from this local area, leaving behind their country and all that was dear to them. They made their future home and family life in Little High Seas and Hodges Cove. The Auxiliary Territorial Service was, as has been said, the women's branch of the British Army during World War II. It was formed on 9 September 1938 and existed until 1 February 1949. The ATS was a uniformed service working collaboratively with male counterparts, though never in a combat role. Initially, jobs available were cooks, clerks, orderlies, accountants, stores keepers, or drivers. Eventually, in allowing more men to be released for frontline service, ATS members undertook more than 100 roles, including serving in anti-aircraft batteries. In recognition of valiant and valiant service in time of unimaginable crises, ATS members were awarded by the British government, number 1, the Defence Medal, 1939-45, number 2, the Volunteer Medal, 1939-45. They each did their bit for a war effort. It is, and on behalf of all sons and daughters, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, it is gratifying to me on this day to know that their adopted home does remember their service and sacrifice, and so honors them. God bless their memory. Now, some remarks about the Newfoundland Overseas Forestry Unit. It all began with the reading of a proclamation during late fall 1939, often by a member of the Newfoundland Ranger Force, throughout the logging camps of central and western Newfoundland. The government of Great Britain and of the Dominion of Newfoundland sought to raise in Newfoundland a unit as a civilian force. Hear that? A unit as a civilian force. That will come back to bite us all in the backside later on. Its task would be to harvest the trees, mainly on the vast private estates of northern Scotland, but also of new forest in the south of England. This would ensure the provision of essential timber products, primarily for the coal mines throughout England and Wales. You may rightly wonder as I'm sure many younger people do wonder, how vitally important, even crucial, was this task? Well, let me tell you. The fighting forces of Great Britain and its immediate allies would play their part magnificently. No question about it. But first of all, these fighting forces on land, on the sea, and in the air must be equipped with tanks, ships, planes, and armaments, military equipment of every sort. Additionally, all this would need replenishing throughout the duration of hostilities. Without coal in the day, this great effort of equipment would not be possible. Coal was needed to fire the great steel mills and iron foundries of the land. The Dominion of Newfoundland had some of the finest loggers already working in the logging industry. This would be undoubtedly, Newfoundland's greatest contribution to the war effort in World War II. A unit of around 3,500, 4,000 loggers was recruited, vetted, signed up, and conveyed from all over this island dominion to Liverpool, England. This all happened during the latter days of 1939, the early days of 1940, during the summer of 1940, and during the summer of 1941. From Liverpool, the unit was transported to 71 camps scattered throughout the Highlands of Scotland and the south of England. The mighty pine, often exceeding 100 feet in height, was the principal interest of the Newfoundland Overseas Forestry Unit. With a great cry of timber, yet another tree was felled by the bite of a sharpened axe and the push-pull stroke of the buckstone in the skilled hands of the logger. These efforts would continue unabated for up to 6½ years in a manner commended by responsible authorities as, quote, being of the greatest benefit to the overall war effort. Descendants of the Newfoundland Overseas Forestry Unit, hear that again. Being of the greatest benefit to the overall war effort. The Newfoundland Overseas Forestry Unit was disbanded 26 July 1946 with the return to St. John's of its last members. A valiant effort, a magnificent accomplishment, end of the story. But it's not. But it's not. my friends, so that the record is straight, and so that we who are the descendants of these 71 foresters and near 4,000 across this dominion of Newfoundland at the time. Let me say this. It pains me at this point, because this part of the story is lived experience for me. Now, if you want to leave, leave now. But I won't be kind. And I'm 72, so I'm not going to worry about how much longer I live or who likes me or who hates me. I could be a little stronger, could use stronger language than that. And I haven't been drinking today. Post-war events. And this was alluded to, but I want to hammer it home. Post-war events were to prove that the decision to raise a unit as a civilian force, brilliant at the time, had now become a liability. A liability. It was now used as an almost insurmountable obstacle in obtaining full and proper recognition for the foresters, now commonly called. Full and proper recognition from first the Commission of Government for the Dominion of Newfoundland, and later both the Federal Government of Canada and Province of Newfoundland and Labrador. No level of government wished to acknowledge the foresters' war effort contributions, nor aid in their repatriation as worthwhile and valued citizens of the post-war era. Through persistence and advocacy on the part of many, this grave disparity over time was at least partially put to right. And I note 3 dates, one of which was already noted. Significant reparation included these 3 in my living memory. And remember, my father has been dead since 1988. It's 1988. In 1959, foresters were finally included in the Department of Veterans Affairs Canada under the Federal Civilian War Allowances Act for pensions, health and disability benefits. Now, it took another 3 years to do the paperwork, and rightly said, it came into effect in 1962. That crowd don't work too fast. In 1981, the Department of Veterans Affairs Canada approved and authorized the Newfoundland Volunteer Medal, 1939-45, which every forester or deceased forester next of kin was entitled to receive upon application. Much appreciated. In mid-1980s, aging foresters were offered domiciliary medical and nursing care at the Department of Veterans Affairs Canada Pavilion, General Hospital, St. John's. But let me put a face on that for you for a second. Though much appreciated, at that point, I had power of attorney for my father. And when the letter arrived at brown envelope arrived announcing that he could have domiciliary care at the DVA Pavilion in St. John's. I read the letter out to him. Why? Why did I read it out? Because he was deeply into Alzheimer's at that time. You each have your own stories. "71 members of the Newfoundland Overseas Forestry Unit hailed from this local area, commonly referred to as random. These men came in all shapes, sizes, and even ages. They held many differing values and views, had many differing needs, wishes, and desires. But this one thing these men had in common: a sense of right and a yearning to do what was right for the common good of all in dire times. Make no mistake, as has been said, the Overseas Forestry Unit, they also served. They each did their bit. And today, we are proud to honor and salute their collective service in their own shout of success. Timber! Thank you.